Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Arkham City. Let's continue. Let's see, let's just make sure we're going in the general right direction that we want to go to. Um, yeah, I'm in a weird position because I get in a big fight, I was able to escape, but even in escaping, it doesn't really save you. Like, you're still kind of doomed to die unless you can find a collectible and regain your health that way. Let's see. Heavily encrypted security panel, which I should just be able to.
This panel is protected using Tiger encryption protocols. I can't decrypt it without access to the master control program Strange uses.
So there is just like a higher level of these encryption panels, which honestly I would have preferred that to not be the case. Like, I would have much preferred there to simply have been some other thing to do. Like, you do run into this problem where the game seems like it is just not quite enough of new content for for the sequel to the game. So I guess that means that we won't ever be able to get into those kinds of rooms with Catwoman. Which, yeah, even on the Catwoman level, there is a certain, like, point where it would make a lot of sense if there was a Catwoman trophy for every single Batman trophy Riddler trophy there is to collect. But that's not what's going on. Still don't really have any clue as to what would be the way to dismantle all of that. And then the next one would be this Riddler riddle, which, yeah. There's a vantage point. So it considers that a vantage point? Interesting. Interesting, there's a bird flying.
Sharp was the one in charge of Gotham. How come he gave it all to Professor Strange?
So there's like one tiny little bird that might mean something. Meanwhile, if there's a riddle, solution to a riddle somewhere around here, it's probably just way down on the ground and probably not really worth your advantage, because there's just a lot of people here and I still haven't even gotten my health up. So you're in this weird position where, like, I could continue to run towards these Riddler trophies in the hopes that there's one I can collect to get a little bit more health. But that's kind of all I can hope for. go ahead and come down here. And there's definitely just these shanty sections. Alright, so that got me where I needed to go, and that was once again a reminder of the fact that you can run and slide. But there's still Tiger security cameras, I believe, all over the place. There's plenty of security people. Like, ideally you would want to be able to hang a lot more like this and do inverted takedowns in the open world. That seems to basically never happen. Let's see. This monitor transmits all the feeds from the security cameras.
This panel is protected using Tiger encryption protocols. I can't decrypt it without access to the master control program Strange uses.
So we have to get to that master control panel, and we can't even mark the map to get back to this panel. So we now know that there are panels, though. I guess that helps somewhat.
Freezing in here, Strange. Send us down some warm clothes. It's like Penguin stepping up security.
That museum of his is like a fortress already.
Gotham City Herald.
Maybe. Never figured Penguin was a chicken. That's funny. I never figured you as a comedian. What's funny? You know, Penguin, chicken, they're both birds.
You're both idiots. Now shut up and let's work out a plan that keeps us alive and doesn't involve birds.
No, that's not. Well, it does look like there's a puzzle here, so let's... Okay.
Used to play down this way when I was a kid. Place hasn't really changed much.
Alright, let's try this. Alright. Come on.
Big rusty piece of crap, if you ask me.
And so they put the little green paint there to indicate. It's just a lot of things here that are marked Gotham Casino too. They've reused a kind of important asset, and it doesn't make a lot of sense that they would have done that. Let's see if we can get to this.
It's Batman!
How did Bane get to be in Arkham City? Didn't Batman
Too chicken to fight me like a man!
Off the camera in Sector 2.
We all know you for hiding in the dark.
But see, if you're like gonna fly over here, even there the graphics don't really line up.
cameras everywhere? They can
Interesting.
see
And your
everything we
remote
do.
device only goes so far, which that's good to learn. Alright. it says there's a Riddler trophy somewhere right about here, which means it's either on the ground here or on the ground on the other side.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, I can't reach that. But we can tag this other Riddler trophy.
Augmented reality.
And I guess it's just moving on to the next augmented reality place. What we know, there is a whole bunch of other collectibles that we're going to either have to beat people up to get to, or
Something big must be going down in Batman's here.
and those are just standard bad guys. There's nothing special about them.
What's the ultimate fighting force in Arkham City? You are it.
And pretty much anything you find is probably a collectible, if it even stands out as even significantly looking interesting. Scarface is an interesting kind of Batman character that I imagine we won't ever actually see in the game, even throughout the entire series. The problem with Scarface is it's a guy with a ventriloquist dummy that is basically Scarface, that's controlling this crazy guy, or the guy's crazy and he thinks he's being controlled by the ventriloquist dummy. They go into that weird direction of magic at a certain point, and there is at least one Batman story I know of where the Scarface character, the Scarface ventriloquial die. What am I trying to say? The ventriloquist dummy actually is like magically controlling the guy. Alright, we're gonna have to throw another. This may be too far away. How far are we from the wall? We're actually not that far, not that close to the wall, so there's just a section here that I haven't really paid a lot of attention to, obviously.
It's out. I can't be trapped here. Got to be an escape.
It's time to decide. Are you tough enough to sign up with Penguin? Or are
Part
you
of your
just chicken? So what is it?
I'll join Penguin. Always hated the Joker. Me too.
part of your Gotham City question, certainly to ask here, would be there's another thing. Sharp. I don't know if we're actually going to fight Quincy Sharp at all in this series of the games, but clearly he was a politician that created a lot of change in the city of Gotham.
We've got to kill each other?
Yeah, there really is like a weird question, I would say, as far as where is the Batcave,
Just run off.
where is
And we'll come fight you
where is the where's Bruce Wayne Manor and all of that.
What kill for a cup of joe about now?
Interesting. So really didn't do anything.
Know what I hate? Little pieces of crap like you. Look at you, all scared and crying. It's embarrassing.
Please, It's not my fault.
I don't see no one else.
But I'm not supposed to be here. I'm just a consultant. I fix alarms, for God's sake.
And now you're in the country's biggest...
I've got a camera out in Sector 1.
I'll go easy. Wherever you've gone, Batman, I'll find you. Let me down again. Take an eye.
Alright. So can we hack this one? Yes, we can. And those are like security level 1 or level 2, so we already have enough of an upgrade. Alright. Let's see. Increase the power of the allowing easier deciphering of the security system. I don't think that is really what we want. I think you want this first and foremost. And unfortunately, I just don't think there's going to be enough grinding to get the armor up higher. Here we got a hotel. Can you scan things while you're walking? It seems like you kind of can, but you want to be fairly careful. They're teasing Killer Croc. In the first game, Killer Croc was really this... He was really nothing but a like run sequence. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we really just end up doing more of that and just having him. See, this is like a high security area, so clearly at some point we'll get in there, and that might be where the final phone call is going. Alright, we have this assault in progress. We should go save Batman. Be Batman a little bit.
Woman shouldn't get involved in other people's business. She can get hurt.
Like the guys are just straight up crying. Alright. We still don't have any kind of special suit that would protect us against the steam.
Batman, thank you.
And that didn't really do anything for us? That would have felt like that would have done more? That should have done more?
What's the Bat doing here? He's the freaking Bat!
That cartoon or comic called The Bat was so obsessed with just him being called the Bat. It
I always knew you were chicken.
really didn't do anything else. So you have a face there. We have horses. We really have no reason to not let the helicopter spot us. Maybe at some point in the future, the game will give us more of a reason to, like, it seems really you just get spotted, and then that is just telling you that you potentially could use the helicopter to get from one point of the world to another point of the world, but that's kind of it. It's not even a good fast travel system because you can't always call upon it, and
Bruce Wayne got his rich ass locked up in Arkham City.
and it just doesn't really work. Right, so on the map, I do see that there's something I can mark here, something I can mark here. It does seem to me like I
Poison ivy
have
really
not
in
just
here?
really been around much in this section. So we'll go ahead and play the game some
Hammer
more.
down in Sector 1.
This is the one we already scanned. We don't really have a large collection of like the Riddler's guys either. Seems like maybe they'll show up more as we start to get more things done. Okay. So I see a vent here, but I don't see a way to get a remote controlled thing through the vent, except for over through here. Which honestly, that seems like insanity that I potentially have to throw the remote controlled batarang, which at a certain point it has to get some kind of hoverability, because I've got to throw it through one pipe in this very tight corner, circle around and hit the other pipe is what it wants me to do. And that's beyond what I would consider a reasonable challenge. You don't even really have a great point where you can even stand to throw it. Like, yeah. So, yeah. Throw this. I can speed and boost a little bit. Yeah, I'd have to slow down. Like, you have this kind of long point where you could, I guess, try and... But yeah, that just seems like total craziness. And to even attempt something like that. We were in an area similar to this before, and it definitely feels like these guys have been refilled. So my hopes that you could just clear out an area and that would be it seem to be mostly dashed. Okay.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! We ain't doing nothing! Don't shoot!
Okay.
Please, don't shoot us! We ain't doing nothing! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
And then
Don't shoot! Please, don't shoot us!
Alright. Alright, so there's more puzzle to this than it seemed at first glance. You're really having to move things around. And then these things like this seem to roll backwards. I really appreciate these puzzles because they are something new. Was that a assault in progress that we were hearing? No, not really.
Really think Batman will come here? Maybe. Who cares, though? Penguin's got crap in his museum that'll keep him and all the other freaks away. You think? Sure. We got
And Mad Hatter, another character. Like,
military-grade weapons.
see, part of the problem here is like, if a lot of the good Batman characters, in my experience, as someone
You're right.
who was really introduced to Batman through the
Penguin's got plenty more.
animated series,
You've seen the stuff in
like,
there. It's insane.
I would say if characters weren't introduced through the animated series and made during that time, they definitely are popularized in my mind, and I think a lot of people's minds, through the animated series.
Who the hell is that strange guy, anyway?
Okay.
It's the Bat.
But because of the fact that they were all, a lot of the characters were popularized or made in the animated series time frame and format, a lot of the characters are also not really in line with the hyper-realistic graphics that your let's see, can I just pick that up? I can. I thought that might be a Catwoman trophy. So yeah, you're not. The game has just never really been, the Batman as a story has never really been set well towards the idea of being hyper realistic. It strange credibility in a lot of ways. Like, of all the crazy things we've seen rich people do, dressing up as a superhero is not one of them. And in fact, even non-rich people very rarely dress up and try as superheroes and try and fight super villains, of which there really seem to be none. Well, I think the Titan formula is here. I think we go in here. So now it's just going to be a matter of, can I smoke bomb or electrocute people in a big enough vantage point? Like, it would be nice if you could just straight up push over the lion. Yeah, you kind of don't have.
Wish I was home in front of the flat.
Run! Hide! We'll find you.
You don't really have a way in otherwise. There isn't just some secret crawling through the front door, which there was something like that in Arkham Asylum. Let's see.
I always knew you were chicken.
What the hell?
Go on! Run! Hide! We'll find you. Come on! There's a...
Zero visual on target. I repeat, we have lost sight of Batman.
I don't like that they can pick up the weapons later. Like, I kind of wish you could break the weapons, or at the very least knock them out of their hands and keep them busy enough that they won't want they won't be able to pick them up? See, you have all this free-flowing theoretical action that's happening right now, but my combos aren't great. There. Like, what was the max combo there? 6. That's pretty much all I'm ever getting is just a 6 max combo. And honestly, they went a little easy on me there because they didn't throw any guys with guns. If even one of those guys had really had a gun, it would have been a very different experience.
Look out! Batman's here!
See, I know there's something like supposed to be right here, but there it is. Wanted signs for Bruce Wayne. Pause now if you want to read this, I guess. We must have done as much as we could with the Zaz submissions. Like, honestly, if we look at the side missions, there's still, it feels like we should have been introduced to all of these missions very quickly, or at least 2 or 3 more. Otherwise, it seems like we're gonna just have to find 5 more of them and struggle to finish the rest of them. This is an easier puzzle. Less words. And I suspect what's going to happen here is we're going to go into the story and it's going to be another room with just a stealth puzzle.
This is Penguin's turf, you freak. I'm gonna cut you up into tiny pieces for breaking in here.
It's funny we're zoomed in here. See, left trigger Y and Y for blade dodge. Alright. So this is new. So you can't just counter. Alright, it is holding Y. But apparently you can also just kind of knock them down. Alright, so. Alright. That doesn't strike me as useful. I think you just grapple him if they have knives. And we may just start to see a case where there's just a lot more characters who have knives. We now have a combat upgrade available. And our suit is just like really torn up. Yeah, it definitely does look like this map though is basically nothing. Alright, so what is our new combat ability? Blade dodge, great. So yeah, I don't know if I really want to do a lot of that blade dodging. Here we have a penguin, which seems to be nothing. So we're back to.
I don't think I want you breaking into my little home, Batman.
Something's blocking communication back to the Batcave. Penguin must be using military-grade communication disruptors. The only way to crack this security is to destroy them.
Geez, I wonder what it is. Anything else?
I'll never get past the security. I should head back. Penguin's blocking all radio frequencies in Arkham City, except the one he's using to communicate with his men.
In the aquatic observation
Okay.
chamber,
So
visitors with a valid ticket
we're going to have to
or concession card
disable
enjoy a discount at the nearby
security.
Iceberg Lounge.
Hmm. Okay, so unless I'm supposed to throw through here, and that's not good
I'll
enough.
never get past the security. I should head back outside and search for Penguin's jammer.
All visitors should be sure to check out our latest attraction, Dangers from the Deep, in the aquatic observation chamber. All visitors with a valid ticket or concession card can enjoy
Can we blow up this, and that's big enough of an explosion to hit the switch? I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
Never get past the security. I should head back outside and search for Penguin's jammer.
Of course, that's clearly not what was supposed to happen there. So, if I was to try to jump through this window, that's barred.
from the deep, in the aquatic observation chamber. All visitors with a valid ticket or concession card can enjoy
So yeah, they immediately stick us
Iceberg Lounge.
in an area to make us run to a different area to just try and get us. You're just gonna end up being asked, certainly, to run back
Augmented
to
reality
some
training.
other places. I imagine the Penguins got a house somewhere around the casino. See if we can get this augmented reality training done.
This Bruce Wayne got his rich ass locked up in Arkham City. Guess there really is a god.
Augmented reality training activated.
Okay. So this was the
Balls are coming
one
down and the rest of Gotham's gonna bleed.
where we want. Yeah, we definitely took out all the people on top of that building. Let's see if there's any other, like, Tiger security cameras or anything to take out.
Batman, come here.
There is a
We
signal
already
jammer.
locked up.
So to do this one, it wants us to barely make that. Come down that way.
Augmented reality training failed.
Come down just a little bit less. A little bit lower.
He's dead. He has to be. No way that wimp could survive here.
But it really puts you in a bad position as far as trying to reset the augmented reality.
Augmented reality training activated.
So you just want to pull, I think, a little bit back. Probably not make too much of a change otherwise. Oh man.
Augmented reality training failed.
I can pull this off. And I really can't blame the game for being like a little bit. I can say the game does feel a little wonky, sure, but it doesn't feel so wonky that I could really blame the game for being impossible to actually beat or anything like that. This is a game that really doesn't benefit from having a weather system. Like raining, snowing.
Augmented reality
We kind of know it will never be it'll never be daytime.
Augmented reality training failed.
Man, they just love to put things in your way. It feels like somebody tested these puzzles
Reality training activated.
when there was a lot less in the city, and then at the last second they just added a whole bunch of...
Something. How does a stupid tower stop Batman from getting in the museum?
You don't need to get it. You need to make sure Batman...
Augmented reality training failed.
Yeah, I just don't think I could get down there anyways. Like there's kind of some kind of boost I need. Alright, well.
Clowns checking out.
I knew you were too scared to face me, Batman.
Okay.
Some kind of smoke. I always knew you were chicken.
But they didn't immediately throw knives in the hands of these guys.
Me wrong.
I'm just gonna have to take these guys out in combo form. Because there's too many of them. Alright.
We all know you.
And you disable it by just punching it and ripping it
The
out.
jamming tower has 3 terminals attached. I'll need to destroy all 3 to shut it down.
Too chicken to fight me like a man, Batman. Figures.
So that seems redundant and unnecessary. Like, unless the idea would be that you were
One
gonna,
jammer down. I should look for more.
unless they were thinking you were gonna have to.
Sorry, Mr. Cobblepot. I don't know. We'll find out. And while you're doing it, make sure the other jam
Like-
is safe, or I'll find you in us.
Yeah. Unless they were trying to make you fight, break those in the middle of the fight.
Don't know where you've gone, Jack, but this ain't over.
Freezing in here, strange. Send us down some warm clothes.
Too scared to fight us? Not surprised.
Let's go ahead and hack this. Nope, we can't do it. Can't do it because it's jammed,
Please, don't shoot us.
which means half the Riddler trophies
People, right? The least
are
they can
just
do is
not
feed us.
are just not accessible right now. I keep trying to figure out where the game actually started, which door I actually walked through. But I guess it probably doesn't matter.
Turn on the heat.
Okay. Return to the main game. And then I guess we run this way.
Just going to keep snowing.
Interesting. So we now know
Freaky snowman. It's
how to
freezing
get
snow
through
dying.
those kinds of environments now. That was just a simple slide. Yeah, they definitely are overemphasizing the slide ability.
That freak, Mr.
Meanwhile,
Freeze. This is
I feel
his
like at this
fault.
point they would have us
According to the log, all wave frequencies are
play.
being suppressed. The entire site is radio secure.
Nice. Where does Cobblepot get military-grade kit like this from?
He's a collector. He's got things you've never heard of in that museum.
Yeah, where you've gone. I'll find you someday and kick the living crap out of you. Come on, man. Run
That's
away.
what happened to the last guy.
What do you mean?
He was left hanging, minus his legs, of course, over a pit of rats. He did good. Lasted days. Cobblepot was pissed, so he fed him to his pet.
You're kidding
There's
me.
another one.
Do I look like I'm...
What's the bat doing here?
Which, honestly, that seems like that's gonna be
Get down here.
fairly easy just to sneak over here.
Batman's back.
And that time it was more of a gun guy.
Batman. This cannot be happening.
And see, I don't even know if there's other.
Screwing with the disruptor.
Like, he was the only one that was even left. I just got really lucky there. And that kind of highlights how small areas like that
Batman's
are
done something
not.
to the jammers up top. Where are the rest of you idiots? We've only just managed to get below ground. Just set it up wherever you are. Do it now. Batman's probably on his way down there. Understand? Yes, sir, Mr. Cobblepot.
The signal's blocked again. Sounds like Penguin's final jammer was activated somewhere underneath Arkham City.
And so that tells us exactly where to go. And when you're just flowing like this, like you don't really
Chicken to fight me like a man, Batman.
don't really have
We all know you
a
were
good
hiding in the dark.
experience or a good opportunity to look for collectibles, look for security cameras.
We've lost a camera in Sector 1.
Interesting. I didn't realize you could watch your batarang fly even if it was just a regular batarang. Apparently there's a Riddle somewhere down here. Yeah, and if you don't have but a couple of people, then you can't really get up the combo amount anyways.
Wherever you've gone, Batman, I'll find you. Go on, Bat. Run away. Hide.
No subject detected. No subject detected. No subject detected.
Please, don't shoot us.
Subject secured. I think we already did that Mad Hatter puzzle though. Beautiful families always sit down to a good meal. The Marone family. Yep. It's kind of a long history that has been added to the Gotham universe that has a lot of mobsters and such. It's not just a case of supervillains start appearing after the Joker appeared. It's that this city itself has been corrupt kind of from day one and became a magnet for corruption.
Underground to set up another comms disruptor. I guess he's still trying to screw with Batman.
Every time Penguin powers up those things, my cell stops working.
Of course it does. It blocks all communications.
The clue is in the name. Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, that's all.
Yeah, we're kind of going in circles here. 200. I think we gotta take out all these guys, so I think I want to try and see if I can just do a glide attack on this guy and knock him out quickly. And then I've got to be in the regular viewing or I won't be able to tell if I am close to, like, these guys aren't dropping their guns, so I need to be able to tell if I'm close to dying. Your bullet armor doesn't seem to just reset. And down we go now, which also kind of highlights how if I had tried to do that augmented reality section at this point, I probably would have gotten shot at.
Penguin sounded pissed.
Batman's been screwing with his plans.
Do those things even work underground? I read the manual. It never said anything about working underground.
Yeah, they work.
If you say so.
So when I take that double takedown down, that then refills half of my bullet armor, not all of my bullet armor, which kind of highlights that apparently armor is not even as useful as you would like it to be. I'd like to shockwave attack, but I honestly can't see myself taking anything other than combat armor and just ballistic armor over and over again. So there's more of a path that way, but we can also see that there's a Catwoman trophy and a path this way. Where this is on the map, it does seem like it is going to just let you sneak into the restricted area without actually getting into the restricted area. To get maybe to this Titan container. Before we do that, however, let's give it as much of a chance as possible to get as many Riddler trophies and get... Nope, I can't do that, can I? Nope. But clearly your bat suit has some level of assistive technology in it too, because you can still mark things on your map. And so far this doesn't really feel like this is going to give us an entire underworld, underground area. If anything, it feels like it might just give us a bit of a fast travel, but not even really a bit of a fast travel. just maybe an easier travel. Before we blow up the floor and fall through it, let's see what's down there. Yeah, this is just marked as a subway entrance. We can see something there. But yeah, unless the paths change later and you have more of a transition point. What do you even do to bring up your health? I guess my health is probably at the full. This is another point where with the highest resolution, the leaves and the papers would probably be flapping in the wind and in the air. But we fixed that by lowering the resolution. It's in the settings a little bit. Honestly, I still am not certain that it wouldn't be better to turn down the resolution a little bit more for a slightly smoother frame rate. It's just how crazy it's so crazy how 60 frames per second is really what you want consistently for interactive PC gaming, whereas 30 frames per second as far as TV and movies isn't crazy. I mean, you could really easily watch something at 24 frames per second or lower and not even really notice it, but once you have your hands on a controller and you expect that delay to be incredibly minimal, and this is a real-time rendering of video instead of pre-rendered video that you'd have in TV and movies. It's almost exactly the opposite situation for most people. Everyone except for the biggest of the audiophiles. When it comes to audio, it's really hard to tell the difference for a lot of people between something like 22 kilohertz MP3 files and 192 kilohertz audio files, lossless audio files. I wouldn't be able to unlock that. I assume what's going to happen is I'll hack that and that will open that door. Here we have the Vicky Vale show. Which, read this, pause now if you want to read this. This definitely feels like I'm just getting set up to be attacked. Iceberg Lounge. And we can open this, but does it lead anywhere? Yes, it does. We'll see if this path gets us a little bit closer to the bad guys. Coming back to dead is cheating on any day of the week. That might be Solomon Grundy reference. Yet another character that... Interesting how that fell over and didn't. That didn't make any sound when it fell over. They obviously would have to program it so it wouldn't do that. Yeah, I don't imagine you could introduce Solomon Grundy as a character. I mean, the thing is, you just gotta start all over again with a lot of these characters, and if you're gonna try and make them realistic. probably wasn't a smart move in general to just try to have such a realistic game. If this was Batman the Animated Series and looked exactly like Batman the Animated Series, and it was just all the characters from Batman the Animated Series in a video game form,
It can't be.
I would be happy with that.
Again. He looks big, right? He's gray.
This poster's gotta be over 100 years old. How can it be the same guy? And even if it was, how did Penguin get it?
I don't know, but I'm sure it is. It's even got a name.
Solo.
Yep. They're talking about Solomon Grundy.
You may be right.
Okay. Is there any way I could see, what are we looking at? There's a Titan formula right there. So can I get to these guys if I want to? No. So how do you get out of this area? Guess you don't. Still too small. So can we come over here on the explosive gel? Do this. And then
It's the bat.
so we got the Titan formula destroyed, but it didn't blow up big enough that it would hurt them or anything like that. So Freak Show Solomon Grundy and the way they're depicting him doesn't seem like that's any real indication that we would really see him. Alright, we have a destructible wall that way, or we go this way and probably cause people to see me.
You heard Penguin. Batman's on the way.
Good. I always wanted a chance to go against that freak. But I thought he wanted us to drag this thing over to the Joker.
He did. I guess Batman's made him change his plans.
Who cares? Kill Batman, drag this thing to Joker, turn it on, and go back to Cobblepot's hero. What? Just like that? Kill Batman? Yeah, I'm not scared. He's nothing. Just some idiot in a costume. He's nothing.
Interesting, you have this like question mark point. Let's just go ahead and scan this. There's a switch way over here. Then there's a switch way over here. And then there's this here. So unless this is supposed to be some kind of challenge like that, interesting. Did you have this auto level ability? Yeah, but you totally don't have time to hit the rest of them. It seems like what you would need to do is like
What starts
pre-program.
with a tick and ends with a shock?
I don't even think we can. I don't even think we could get. Why is there like 3 Riddler trophies in one place? That seems ridiculous. To have them all in the same place. It's probably a mistake to even scan all 3 of them. Because now in the overworld that's gonna look like there's 3 of them when in 3 different places. And we still can't hack anything, so. Let's see if we can find a slightly better point to end this episode. We are, I think, playing more towards the story now. And let's see if we can look at the map. Yeah, it's a big empty area, which probably leads to something that we can reach later, and connects here. So instead of having to circle all the way around, you'll be able to go through, but I kind of feel like you're going to fairly quickly be able to cross into the restricted area somewhat. Maybe you'll still get attacked a lot, and maybe it still would make sense to go through the subways. But yeah, I don't really have a feeling that I'm going to use this fast travel as much as possible.
I'm paying you to protect that thing. Don't let me down.
No way do I want to be the one telling Penguin that I let Batman get away. He'll feed me to that
Okay.
damn monster.
So this is a guy who's not only a gun-toting guy, but he's also a Riddler guy,
Just the beginning.
which also I think highlights the idea that the
That disruptor is the only thing keeping you alive. If it stops working, it's not Batman you need to be worrying about.
We need to find Batman before Penguin loses it big time.
I'm one man down. That's not good, is it? Still, I'm sure the rest of you will do your best not to disappoint me.
Alright.
You heard what the Penguin said, right? Oh God! Everyone, get your asses over here now!
Let's see if we can take out this guy. Alright. Let's see, no invincibility frames there.
He's up there!
See if we can roll around and find some different places.
I see what you mean. How are you gonna use those things if they're not here?
I'm running out of patience. You're running out of people. Let's see what runs out first.
Penguin gave an order, so move! Oh, you think you can hide up there? Think again! Come on, wake
Yeah.
up! Damn it, he's out cold! Came from over here, I'm sure of it! Where the hell are you? What are you gonna do when you ain't got got nowhere to hide, huh?
So we need...
You're supposed to be good at this.
And see, notice how this animation, which is from the previous game, takes you out of that detective mode. Alright, we've got 2 more guys.
Someone help me! Don't move!
Like, I gotta get close enough to be able to knock him out. But see, that wasn't great. Like, that still managed to take out a lot of my health. See, I don't know what this would have done. Seems like these sometimes are just designed to make noise and do nothing else. And it kind of feels like the only thing you can do now once you're in an area like this is to wander around and just take in the sights. So I guess we are in the subway, but the subway has a skylight ability. Just get a general idea of where things are. Little secret areas. It doesn't seem like I would have been able to interrogate the guy who was green, even though he was marked as a Riddler character. It's definitely do seem like something's gonna open that way, so we might have a bit more of a boss fight. It's also oddly seems like that door is just an exit. Well, nothing has caused boss fights after we've destroyed these things, so getting all the jammers destroyed is probably your first bet.
That was the last jammer.
And that
I
was
should
an
be able to get into
achievement.
the museum now.
They did say they were taking this to Joker, which makes it seem like Joker might have betrayed you. Visit Santa Prisca. I don't know what Santa Prisca is. Pause now if you want to read this. I guess maybe that's where Bane is from. Maybe. The whole, like, Teen Titans characters never really get integrated into actual Batman lore. And that's kind of the problem with a lot of the Batman DC comics, is that Batman will show up in plenty of other people's comics, but it's not really considered particularly canon to the Batman universe. And frankly, Batman shows up in, like, far too many comics in general, so it gets weird. Like, unbelievable that he would be able to be in 5 different places at the same time. Alright, so if you have something like this, can you throw something like this to break that? No. 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 So there's clearly some other ability. Like, it doesn't seem like you're supposed to be able to grab onto a ledge or anything. Like, if I was to get up here and then Yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to be able to jump back this way and grab any kind of ledge or anything. Oh, come on. There is something here, though. Seems like the game has specifically given us a lot of extra Riddler trophies in this one specific area. And the length of these puzzles don't really seem to coordinate with the difficulty of opening the areas. Alright, well, let's go back this way.
What the hell is happening down there? Hello? Is someone gonna answer me? I'll give you one simple task. Stick up a couple of freaking machines. And what? You couldn't even get that right? I hope Batman broke every bone in your stupid bodies. I hope you're lying there, desperately trying to breathe through fractured ribs and punctured lungs. And if you're not, oh, you'd better summon up whatever strength you've got left and run. Because after I'm done with the Bat, you're all next.
So we couldn't do the hacking there until it decided dead end.
Three, two, one. And the Dark Knight Detective fails to complete my challenge.
Well, well. So the shaved monkey has failed. How utterly, utterly expected.
You need to collect all your gadgets and upgrades to outsmart him. Is what it says in the top right there. Okay.
What starts with a tick and ends with a shock?
Okay. Yeah. So there's probably a remote hacking ability that you would have to have. Like a really far remote hacking ability so that you could be completely out of the room. Yeah. Because, like, as soon as it does that, it locks the door on you.
3, 2, 1. And the Dark Knight Detective fails to complete my challenge.
What's wrong? Has your primitive brain given up and accepted that I, the Riddler, am better than you?
So yeah, you just can't do that. You need something that would probably make you completely immune to electricity. That's a little laggy. Or Catwoman, maybe. Like Catwoman could probably jump on the top of the area, the roof of the building, and yeah. Do we have anything map-wise otherwise to be interested in? I really don't know. I think we open this door, and then I suspect that this is gonna stop us at some point. we're going long again today. See, like, you would think that this... like, this would be something of importance. And if anything, all this is really telling me is that you probably die if you hit the water, because you die / reset whenever you hit the water anyways. So you can't go to this point any further until you have some kind of bat rocket ability that shoots you up in the air and lets you fly and control your flight, which would also certainly explain like some of the augmented reality training and some of that other stuff. And then clearly at some point we'll be able to open those doors. Yeah. Unless I'm supposed to just fly through that. That didn't work either. Batman perches a little bit too much. You'll get stuck on a ledge. Question can only be answered from an unusual perspective. Is apparently a riddle in this area, and now we have to go back to this. We are now down to 109 of the Riddler trophies over the entire world. We're still at the same 23 Catwoman trophies. We're down to 25 riddles in the overworld, some of which I imagine we just can't actually get. We've done none of the 29 star things, it seems. As for side missions, we haven't done any of them in a fairly long time. I guess we made a little bit of progress with the Fragile Alliance with Bane. As far as finding new things, as far as the stories of Arkham, we are, I guess, slowly filling that out. This interface is terrible still, but we haven't seen a new character, is Vicky Vale, in a very long time, which seems a little crazy. Even in somewhat trying to move the story forward, we've kind of failed to actually move the story forward much. The game was much more interested in dragging us around, which it sure does feel to me like there were going to be buildings you went into that became much closer to something like a Ocarina of Time dungeon, or yeah, any kind of Zelda-esque dungeon where it's just a really big building on the inside, and yeah, we're not seeing that. I guess at a certain point, next time we level up, we'll try to get ballistic armor, but I don't even think the armor upgrades are really helping us as much as I'd like at a certain point. After that, cryptographic power amplifier is probably the next choice. I don't think blade dodge takedown is going to prove itself to be useful until we start to see more of that happen. And weirdly, we got blade dodge in this position, so that implies to me that there's some other way I could have played the game, which would have either given me an ability here, or here, or here, or the special combo Bat Swarm then has an upgraded version here and here. There's no Predator skills and it's kind of ridiculous. A lot of these are not skills as much as they're just tutorials. There's no Catwoman skills that aren't just that you upgrade. Definitely feels like you could have upgraded a lot of these or had these upgrade just every time you level up. So if in your very first fight, in the very first point of the game, you could only strike, and then at the end of that first fight you leveled up, and then you could counter, and then you leveled up and you could evade and redirect and all of that. That would be kind of weird, but it also would be more tutorially. Of course, this is the second game in the series, so maybe they just don't care so much about being tutorially. We are getting closer to the possibility of having a full row of Riddler trophies and riddles answered, but I'm not sure that really is going to unlock anything for you. And maybe it will just unlock a 3D model or something unimportant. There's still plenty of things to find in Amusement Mile, plenty of things to find in the Industrial District. We now know that this is the subway and that there are chattering teeth.
Killer was colored, but is he now on the loose?
So, we'll have to keep an eye out for these chattering teeth. Those were in the first game, and I'd kind of forgotten that they existed completely. Steel mail. And we now know what the museum is, and that the museum has penguins you're going to try and destroy. Which we know now there's literally only one more building. Yeah. So I don't know how you have the game like this. It's really weird. Like, again, I'd really like to see what my progress is and how much my progress goes up because I've found collectibles versus my progress going up just because I moved the story forward. Because, yeah, it feels like they're going to try and rechange the whole world at a certain point. And in rechanging the whole world, there will just be stronger enemies in the overworld, which maybe at that point the tiger copters shoot you down and you can't just live on the rooftops, and it is a more on-the-ground experience. But if it does become a fully on-the-ground experience, then you're not really playing as Batman. Clearly, I can't do all the Titan containers at this point either. Yeah, if people are shooting me down from the air and putting me on the ground, you're not really doing what Batman does. If people are shooting me on the ground and putting me in the air, then it becomes very frustrating and difficult to actually take out people. Clearly, we still need at least a couple more upgrades. But yeah, in a weird way, it does kind of feel like we might be closer to 60-70% done with the game, just storyline wise. And at that point, maybe you just run around and get the collectibles. I don't know, maybe the DLC where you play as Catwoman, I think more, maybe that DLC somehow overlaps with the overworld collectibles, and you then just play the game as Catwoman post credits and get the rest of the collectibles. I don't even know why you would want to do that at that point, though. Like, it is a bad gameplay loop that we're experiencing right now because we are only slightly motivated and slightly capable of getting the Riddler trophies so that we can get slight upgrades to get more Riddler trophies to maybe, at the end of the day, take a little bit less damage in the fight sections, which are still poorly programmed. In the stealth sections, when I try to do it as a stealth player, that doesn't really work either. It would have been very nice to be able to not have the alarms go off when you silent take down someone, and not have bodies being found or drag bodies around, and make it more like a Hitman game if you're going to go in that direction. And maybe that is the direction they should have gone. Honestly, they should have probably just tried anything other than doing what was in the first game with the free flow fighting when you get into combat and the stalking elements in limited areas. Whoa, it's been an hour and 30 minutes. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.